Man. I'm late to say the least. Usually I would start my stream about 20 minutes earlier for these SRGP races. And then I also once I was finally done with clicking a thumbnail briefly together, I was still another 10 minutes later than I actually set it in. There's all that is usual issues with me. I'll let's not ping a general chat here. Reduce admin overhead, thank you very much. Okay then. So, let's actually hope we're gonna have a race in SRGP. Otherwise, well, we're gonna have to wait half an hour about for... Oh, actually, I just realized. In my math, probably gonna even run late for qualifying. We're gonna completely skip most likely the practice session due to SRGP. Alright then. Not the end of the world. Worse things have happened. Oh, fuck you. I had it set still on AC mode, my sim hub, and because it mode switched, it switched my overlay out. Oh wait, actually we do need to swap the car here as well. But we're gonna join the GT3 server first. Sim racing. GP.net. Okay, seems we actually have drivers this time around. Yeah, we have 4 drivers. Hooray. Let me briefly fix my overlay over here. Because that decided to fucking break itself. It had to do that. It had to. Crying out loud. It had to obviously do that one. Okay, then. Done. Dusted. Oh, and now it took my fucking controller away. Fuck you, genuinely. No. I turned the controller on and it immediately comes back. Fuck you too. Because this is a problem where, like, the index has a button to open like system menu and stuff, with which you can navigate the menus. And this is how I pull the desktop view up and stuff. Well, occasionally it will decide to not. It will take the control away from you to give it to the controllers when you're turning them off, which is incredibly useful. Not at all. I don't have a wet set actually for this track. I have a wet set for this track, but not a dry set. Which is a bit inconvenient, you could say. How hot is it? 24 degrees. 3 is fine. No telemetry laps. Tire pressures. I think that's a bit on the low side, maybe. So, right. Oh, hello there. How are you doing? Already awake again? Well, we have... Seems at least some people here. Although the Bentley should be pretty good on this track, so this is probably not gonna go particularly too well for my competition. But the Lexus has actually not turned up, which is sad. Or at least so far hasn't. Which means my main championship rival isn't actually here. Because I mean the BMW guy quit. Fast Audi guy at height is also not showing up in a bit. I think I'm starting to be the only one who has run all races. Besides, I think Kenny actually. I think he's also run all races. Oh, my rear tire's a bit warm. Yeah, actually up to pressure immediately, which is probably a sign that we're gonna overpressure. Our slap time was a 46. I think that's not even that slow. Although I don't know what my lap times are gonna weigh here. I remember GT4s doing like, I don't know, 54s? Oh, great, awesome, that happened again, where it didn't automatically switch the scene. Oh yeah, because it switched the game, right. Let me just briefly finish the banker. You're not missing much. Read that before I finish the old lap. Handling I would say is okay. I'm not going that quick. 47, only P2. Only P2. About half a second or so. Let's fix my fucking OBS not deciding to... No, it's not OBS's fault, it's SimHub's fault not working correctly in this sense. They're doing quite a jump. And yeah, we have to find half a second here. To tie the McLaren. That's a bit of a yikes for me to be that slow. Yeah, I had a good 3 hours of sleep. I had a bit more, I will totally say that. I actually had more than that sleep. Not seeing much in terms of gains on the lap, which is not a good sign. Fuck me! Jesus. Because oversteer at times is stupid, huh? And I'm running 4 ABS already. Not 4 ABS, 4 TC. And it's just not cutting the oversteer out. Ah, too far. Actually stayed within bounds, just about. Ah, there's the half a second already. Formula student inputs. Yeah, the Formula student was more sane with its oversteer, just snaps, than this thing on that corner. But here I have actually more steering lock to save the car, so. Because the Formula student wants to constantly run out of steering lock. So. Improved massively there. Okay, well then, we have qualifying now. Track temp has actually gone down. We did run a bit high pressures on the rear. Well, I think the front didn't actually come up to pressures really. I have to actually check the stream for the pressures because they're not showing up in-game. Because of the ACC bug where if you finish... Oh, front pressures were actually fine. Rear was high. Okay. But yeah, there's an ACC bug that if you are running when the session switches, your tires get that tire set gets reset. So, in case you're running low on tire sets with a restricted qualifying format, you can just run your tire set and save yourself a bit of trouble that way. Just keep on the tire set and it will be reset at the end of the session. Although I don't know if like you've carried already that set from one session to the other and then reset it, if it then gets reset fully. I don't know. Some things I haven't tried. This one over here needs 0.5. This one here probably needs actually a bit more. Fronts were fine, but we have gone down in temperature, so I think I'm gonna slap 0.1 on all tires additionally. So. No, I don't use a laptop. I use a desktop. It is... I do have a trackpad here that you can hear clicking, but that is a Bluetooth keyboard that I'm using. Bluetooth keyboard with trackpad, so I can actually work on stuff. That's what I'm always like putting away when I lean over here. So no, I'm not using a laptop, I'm using a desktop. I do own a laptop. It's just that thing, yeah, it can't play CSGO. It also literally lags when scrolling through the server list on Discord. That's not even a joke, it actually does that. It even did that still in Windows before I switched the machine on Linux, and I'm pretty sure the video driver of that Intel CPU is not working properly. The Skylake CPU. Laptop is a few years old. Battery is not holding much of a charge anymore. And you know, for administrating my server, it is neat to have a Linux box. Yeah, it is. There's also a multi-touch trackpad, which is really annoying because there's a multi-touch gesture that is pulling, I think, 4 fingers, pulling them together, and then you switch into this weird task view mode on Windows, which you can, I think, also achieve when you press Alt and Tab together, or something like that. But that view means that I oftentimes lose my cursor in game and have to like pull up the desktop and navigate that to get back out of the mode. On the other hand, I can 2-finger scroll and everything. That is always neat. Ah. Please try to stay on the track. God damn it. What is actually track condition? Fast though, okay. Maybe I should have taken some rail wing out of the car. Kind of comes obviously because of the CDA setup with maxed rail wing. And a fairly high rake on it. Maybe take some rake out of it to bounce out the aero. But it's not like the car's massively understeering through the high-speed corners. I'm more dealing with low-speed oversteer on the throttle, which I'm trying my best with TC to trim out. It was a 47, which is not particularly great. Granted, we're running the same fuel load as in practice, so I'm not expecting to go that quick. It's not ideal. And then I missed this apex as well. Sometimes that curb bounces me and sometimes it doesn't. So we saw the McLaren 650 understeers earlier today. Oh god! I think I did a race early January with the McLaren's 650S. It was horrible. Like, granted, I drove it at Alton Park, and I think that track specifically doesn't favor it too much because it's too bumpy. It seems that track is just too bumpy for the old 650S. The thing doesn't like to take the bumps there. So it was a nightmare to drive, really. And yeah, it had a lot of understeer. Funny thing is, the 650S is a pretty competitive car in R-Factor 2. Despite RF2 having also the 720S. Although it might have been nerfed, I think, quite a bit at one point. In any case, it was at some point like pretty powerful, if not downright OP. Oh, thank you, car. I'm so inconsistent with my laptops, they're really scruff. I see. Yeah, almost anywhere else it's bad. It's interesting that it's decent at Donington. But that Donington probably is also relatively bumpy. But yeah, in RF2 it feels very understeering, like I think it was it late 2019, I think. When was it 2020? Yeah, it was 2020 for sure. Late 2020. When when a BOP update hit that made the Corvette so powerful that the esports series turned into a Corvette only show. No joke. It was basically Corvettes only. But yeah, there the 650S under that meta was when I tested the cars around Portimao. I drove the 650S and it was like, it felt like shit, it was understeering like crazy and stuff. And the thing was just... And I completed the lap and the lap time was the fastest I had set so far. And it was just like, what? A, I had totally not expected that car to be competitive at all. And B, it was absolutely rapid. And yeah, it did wear its tires a bit more than the others, but if you have such an advantage on pace, then even when you drop off, you're still gonna go stupidly quick. Oh, if I didn't improve, I would have actually dropped out of P1. Alright then. The Icona entry offer was very nice. I don't remember that being particular, but it's probably because I was just fighting the car in general and every moment of its existence. Well, that wasn't particularly too fun either. Yeah, my fastest time prior to this was a 46.622. And the other guy set a qualifying a 46.75. So I was still on pole at that point, but not by much. And then I just opened up the margin on the final lap. So, but temperatures have gone up actually pretty drastically. Had such native pressures, god damn it. I'm not gonna do... Have to change them again. Pain. 05, I think. Let's hope this roughly goes where I need to go. Nah, let's actually go 06 down. Alright, put an additional 10 liters into the fuel tank just in case. Yeah, interesting to say the 720S understeers too much for you.
30 seconds.
Please don't come then to me and saying that the Ferrari is turns well, because I'm definitely of the opinion the Ferrari has a terrible understeer. Except when I drove the old 488 at drove the old 488 at Imola, and that was actually very enjoyable. The default setup is really good for the old 488, but the 720S really isn't like an... I don't think it's an understeer car really. Although yeah, you probably, if you're following another car, you start suffering understeer. You can definitely get the thing to rotate.
Green light, give it all you can. Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Yeah, the Porsche is also like... It understeers also like crazy, then until it doesn't, and oversteers like crazy. Porsche is just very much something. I mean, I drove it recently in Watkins Glen for an 8 hour, of which I think I drove like 4 hours or so. Or at least I drove the most out of my two teammates. Quite a margin. I was the one that didn't like... I did have accidents, but I didn't crash on my own. I mean, the Porsche would be a great car technically for me, for just like it being a difficult thing to drive, but it's too much setup effort to get the thing to perform. And I'm just like not someone who does that oftentimes. I can drive it, just I would prefer not to spend double the time that I'm racing on trying to get a setup to work. That then doesn't. It's a nice combination if you have the setup working. And we actually did get the setup working for that race very nicely. Even though the CDA setup that we started off with bugged out, because clearly you're not supposed to put the toe on the rear on maximum negative. I've had that bug on my own setup at Suzuka. I think there was a change in the maximum toe value from when the setup was made till the setup was used, and that bugged the setup out. Yeah, it was stupidly quick actually, but the problem was like you couldn't complete a lap on it. I think I just went faster than in qualifying. Or at least very close to that. Which isn't surprising actually, because I ran very similar fuel loads and drove... and the track has now gone optimum, so we probably have more grip on it. I'm not escaping too much from the guy behind. But we're definitely escaping. Boom. 45.5. Granted, the guy behind actually clocked in a 46.0. So I think this guy also like qualified on like race fuel or something like that. Very nice. I'm not sure. I don't know what like the lap times here on the circuit are. Probably low 40s. Alien times. Actually, probably more like 42s or something. 43s. Alien pace. I think it dropped some time in the middle sector there. I've also nailed pretty spot on the tire pressures. Slightly low in the front, but really nothing. Oh, somebody is damning me. Unfortunately busy for a bit longer. Especially because we do have to join the Aris community race relatively quickly after we're done with this race. There's still 21 minutes on the clock and it's already 5 minutes before the server goes live. So slight bit of time pressure. I need to start planning to avoid having to drive an extra lap.
Fastest lap.
45.2. Yeah, there's still time, I think, to gain very much, even for me. Although we have really good conditions here for sure. It's like 25 air, 33 track, optimum track, extra sag. Yeah, we definitely have to look at the replay after the Aris race. Can't do that in between the two races. I did run Spa this week once with the boat, so I have a setup for the car. When I drove it actually in this series, ironically enough. It's the season opener. Goodness gracious, I'm just continuing to go faster. But this is fun. Not so fun for my opponent behind, who is just like, ah! Just hoping that I just stop completely driving them into the floor. It's literally on the thumbnail, Spa. Oh, I think I didn't put it into the video title. Oh yeah, it is actually in the video title as well. Fair enough, I mean, you get me to talk a bit more. That is probably a positive. Because I guess I'm starting to run out of topics to talk about. Hello! Could I kindly exit the corner? It's all on Stover's data, so I guess that's a thing. Also, after me not having calculated at all my fuel consumption, I have taken a bit more fuel than I need. Yeah, but 150% of what I actually... About 50% extra, so that's a sensible way to frame it. And not saying, oh, I've taken 150% of what I need. It's like, yes, that's Bit autistic to frame it that way. The Bentley is helping with talking points, yeah! When it wants to oversteer again out of the far corner. Oh, I just completely cocks it up with this corner. But it's a very easy to drive car, like a Porsche you wouldn't hold with that much of an angle, but Bentley? Nah, you're fine. Like you can go that much sideways. It's actually similar to the Nissan in that way. Well, I'm not sure if the holding massive slide angles, I think you can do that with the Nissan as well. But with the oversteer on throttle, the Nissan has that definitely. At least with the 2018 version, I think the 2015 version has it as well, but the 2015 version is so absolute garbage that it's like... I had the misfortune of having driven that thing at around Silverstone, and I want to have that undone. I mean, the thing is, imagine the 2018 Nissan not being competitive, and then think about the 2015 Nissan and me entering it into a race. Yeah, it didn't go particularly as planned. I would have probably been better off of driving the Ryder in terms of pace. Like, I think my fastest time around Silverstone was a 2:03? Something like that? The thing was awful. It didn't have a straight line speed and it understood like a dog in the corners. Because it had absolutely no form of downforce on the front. And it generally was... Actually, I think that thing didn't have that much oversteer on the throttle. It was a very kind one, but it just was slow as all hell. Yeah, it's just... It's interesting how some other cars are... Some of the old cars are still very much competitive, like the M6, Lexus, the old Ferrari is still very much kicking. That one can still actually be pretty competitive, as I noticed in Mimola. There are definitely cars that aren't competitive. And also the misfortune of driving the old Lambo. Although I'm not sure how much worse it is to the normal Lambo. The old Audi, I think, is just... would be a good car if the Evo 2 wouldn't be OP. I think the old Evo Audi wasn't just... absolutely getting... run circle around with the... due to some handling issues in that car. So yeah, that thing is definitely interesting. Jimmy entered the 2015 Nissan at Bathurst, like why? Why would you possibly want to torture yourself like that? Like, it's one thing to drive the tractor at Le Mans, it's one thing, right? It's another thing to drive, you know, the old AMR there, which probably still is decently competitive as well on the list. Like, that thing on high-speed circuits can be very competitive, although I don't think it... I've not driven the new Evo 2 either, because I don't own the DLC for it. I know it is, however, pretty OP considering its pick rate and everything. And people talking about it. It seems there is a decent change in how it handles. So it might be for people who have the DLC worth it to just try the Audi out. Even if they didn't like the Audi before. Like, I'm not particularly the biggest fan of the Audi's handling at times. But needless to say, it is, at least with the Evo 1, but the Evo 2 seems to definitely improve the car quite a bit. Despite that the main differences on that thing is it has a different rear wing and a different steering wheel. In case you need to distinguish one. Like, that's how you distinguish them. They have a different looking steering wheel and a different rear wing. That's it. I mean, there is actually a sale for DLC also in Humble Bundle is having the ACC, but also AC actually. DLC's on sale. But it's only 10% off on the new DLC, so I'm just like, yeah, I don't think that's quite worth it. I think I'm gonna grab it when it's at 50. I mean, it took actually longer than I expected for, like, people using the all content, the all content usage to actually die completely off. That took longer than I actually expected. What did I say? Completely wrong. Yes, that the content usage died off of the new content, not the old content. The old content was dead already. With the new Cupcast and stuff, that they actually found quite a bit of usage, and you can still find some series with them, but it's slowly becoming very small grids like this with them, and yeah, having grid sizes that are about this large, and they're starting to approach those numbers. Perhaps they're running 10 cars or so, but that's not much of a difference to a 6-car grid. Yeah, the DLC is yep, precisely that's the point that I was trying to get across. It did have quite a bit of usage, and I think there was actually longer usage of these new cars, peak usage, than I actually expected it for a longer time. But it is clear that it is now. People have gone back to their GT3s again. Like, sure, I can imagine the new car being a blast. I like the old Porsche Cup car. I mean, I'm also an insane maniac who drove a 6-hour race in a Maserati solo, so there is that. So me driving a Porsche Cup car and liking driving one is not too surprising. In some ways, I actually prefer the old Cup car over the GT3R. So the GT3 race version, the new one. Obviously, as I mentioned, I don't own the DLC, so it's just like, sure, they're fun cars. It's just the usage is gonna die, and like, you unfortunately not gonna be able to use it really online. I've driven the I own the M2 actually in R Factor 2, and I've driven it once, I think. I've competed in an online race once with it. I've actually, I think, driven it twice or so. Yeah, it is something. I've seen it. I've raced in races where they were used. It's probably fun. But also, yeah, would have to say I wasn't particularly impressed when I drove it. Like, you can sure get like some close one-make racing with it if you get decent crit sizes. And I think oddly enough the M2 actually is finding still some decent amount of people running it. It's still included in some leaks. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna host a GT4 leak and let's throw some M2s in there as well. I've seen that a few times now. Not that GT4 leaks are also that particularly common, but you can still find them. It's unfortunate, it's like, even for a GT4 class, you oftentimes struggle to just get people to drive this stuff. Because everybody wants to drive the faster GT3s. Even though they have no clue how to drive them. The thing is with the Maserati is that it has so much power. Not in the sense of like you have so much horsepower and you get massive amounts of wheel spin like this thing. Yeah, I've seen unfortunately in some series where the M2 just basically died completely, but that series also completely died basically as well, so that was the Bunetics mini multi-class series. But that didn't have particularly many cars anywhere running at the end. I think in total we had like 11 cars or so for the Hungary final. We had like 2 or 3 M2s. What, like 9 GT4s or something? Yeah, those grid sizes you start to show off the car. But it wasn't the first race that they were down to like 3 or 4 cars, and it looked like it always devolved for them to a very separated race. It's unfortunate to see with a short sprint. For Enduro it's fine, I guess, because you still race for something, you can still run the other guy down perhaps, but it's some half an hour, 35-minute race, and each car is at least 5 seconds apart. It's like, yeah, this isn't gonna work particularly well. I haven't raced much out of ACC outside. Well, I'm saying that having raced last night, the Formula Mad around Spa Petit Champs. I'm saying that, but like I haven't outside of the few AC races where we've usually driven like historic tin tops. I've done the DTMs, I've done 2 DTM races, and I've done the GT86 race and the stock car race, and the 70 stock car race, and then obviously the driving the Formula Students with multi-class with the vans around the Spa Petit Champs, which that thing was insanity. But yeah, I haven't touched like something some Formula cars in a long time. Honestly, in part because I'm actually pretty fucking slow with them. Fortunately. I also don't play iRacing, but I've played F4 cars in RF2 before, and it's, yeah, not a big fan of them. Tattoos F4. I've driven the old. I really like the old USF 2000. I've also driven the new one. Did I win a championship in the new one? I don't think I won a championship in the new one. I think the new one I think I didn't completely suck, but I did, I think, quit once. I know that I halfway into a season of SRGP, the Rookie League, quit effectively driving on SRGP due to, I think, the USF 2000 around Highland Motorsport Park. Having a race there in the top split, it was just like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. I'm way off the pace and I'm not enjoying this at all. Right then, yeah, we're close to actually doing an extra lap. It's not the crashing, it's I'm just going slow with them. Granted, in that case was also crashing, but like, because they are very off to drive, they have a very narrow operational window. That's not particularly how my driving... They don't suit my driving style because of the narrow operational window. Like with this car, if I step sideways, if I'm slightly too fast or something, the thing will just go slightly sideways. And I drop a 10 for 2. It's totally fine, but if you do that with a Formula 4 car, if you exit the operational window, you just will die. It won't forgive you for that driving mistake at all. And while doing that, you have to technically also push the car 200% to get actually the pace out of it. You have to drive pixel perfect lines, and it's just... That is really the stuff I do not enjoy doing. I like throwing a car around the circuit, not to obsess about the driving lines to the nth degree. So things that want to inherently go a bit sideways themselves, and very much encourage that in terms of driving, I enjoy those. Yeah. That's saying something for iRacing standards. Probably closer to how the car handles in other games. It's probably pretty close to how it handles in other games. Yeah, the car doesn't have that much downforce, but it also has really no mechanical grip, so you do have to lean on the downforce to actually get cornering in F4. Also, yeah, you want to, I think, slide these lower tier F Formula cars a bit, just to, because they have also a lot of understeer as well. What do you add? Right, okay. We do have to actually get off the server because, well, the Aris server has already gone to qualifying and we've won this race already, so... the replay will be automatically saved anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's just briefly look at the tire set. Light graining on front tires and also the rear tires, so I've grained all tires. So everybody has finished. So 14 seconds over P2, which is 20 seconds ahead of P3. And then actually Kenny finished 3 seconds behind Sorrentino. Didn't Madbat like join late to the race? Or was he actually on the grid already for the start? Sorrentino, Robinson, SRGP. Yeah, he was actually on the grid already at the start. And I think that's also an old Audi. Yeah, that's not even an Evo Audi that Madbat drove. He was 33 seconds behind. No, I didn't actually win. This is the first win of today. This is the first win of today. I finished. This is my third time on the podium today. And that's correct. This is the third time I'm on the podium. I finished because this morning I finished twice in second place. I didn't win the races there. That went to the Pingu, who finished won both races. I finished only second in them. In quotation marks only. I wasn't actually that quick with the car and still directed to second place, which that's pretty good. Still very good results. And that guy seemed to be absolutely cranked with the Formula student. Well, a lot of people are quick with the Formula student. It's just I definitely wasn't one of them. I just kept out of the bads for the most part. So yeah. Right. Yep, we're just into qualifying and it's just started. 24, okay. I think that this setup actually will be reasonable for those temperatures and conditions. Seems it's also allowed to refuel, so we can actually refuel during the race, because we have to do 2 mandatory tire swaps. And it is also noted that, like, you definitely want those tire swaps. Alright then, I think everything is more or less simple. Or maybe actually check again. Yeah, the brake, I think maybe I need to increase the tire pressures. Let's try this. Ignition starter. Let's roll. Alright then. Spa, not petite champs. Something like that, like, forgot to mention, I think petite champs uses probably the same elevation change. It's just on the same elevation of each corner, it just changes. Because you drop so hard down on that circuit, I feel like that track might have the same amount of elevation that the actual Spa circuit had, but then again, you can actually drive up over Rouge still. So if you would compact the circuit down, you probably wouldn't be able to. Yeah, because I think it genuinely still has the same Y displacement, but X and Z have been compressed on the circuit to produce the absolute hilarity of that circuit. Or at least to some extent, the Y-axis definitely has been scaled less. It is clear for sure. But yeah, this is a little insane circuit. Lunge. Yeah, and you were getting also airtime over that crest. Which definitely we don't get here, which is, you could say, a positive. I mean, you do unload the suspension over the crest here, but let's face it, having airtime would definitely be something that I don't want. I feel like my tire pressures are a bit low. Fuck. Straight invalidated. Yeah. Kind of a bit squirrely on the back end at times. Still, it's interesting, like, I think at the top esports level the boat is a very popular car, but when you see the pick rate for like normal servers, for leagues and like competition, the Bentley really isn't picked that much, despite it being basically good everywhere.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
And a really good endurance car as well. It might struggle a bit at top end speed, but it might not be quite the best car on the circuit, but still the BOP is pretty good here. Like, you can still drive for the top with it. And your tires are gonna do pretty fine with it. 28.1, that's not too impressive. And low fuel. Especially with an optimum track, that definitely isn't impressive. And now that I need to at least go 19. Three laps of fuel. I don't know, that Porsche driver is about 2 seconds slower than I was in the last time around. Although, fuck you! Fuck you! Oh, that's annoying. Millimeters, fucking millimeters there. Off, I need to slow down, I think. No point in harassing him. Tire pressures are at about 0.5 off. I have about 6 minutes remaining. It might make sense to escape at this point. Nah, we're gonna continue on, I think. Fuck it. I know this will mean that we'll lose out in performance, but hey. Continue to hate La Source. It's one of my most hated corners in all of racing. No name was not too good. Go for the esports line. It's funny how the iRacing thing with the grass mowing is on this circuit, where also the infamous RF2 esports line is. Please don't block me. Which is the run from no name down to oh no. Ooh, not again. I don't need another lap invalidated, please. I beg you. But yeah, down there you have that you have that stripe of grass and then this piece of AstroTurf. And the RF2 esports line is driving on that AstroTurf. It's absolutely fucking insane, that shit. And I blow completely the chicane as well. I have fuel for another lap. 99, oof. Yikes. To say that is terrible is an understatement. And classic Lassos, I go for it and go worse. Congratulations, I hate this corner. Oh, cut inside cup a bit much. Slow it down. Slightly going up, it's not too bad, considering how slow we're going. Yikes, going even slower. Literally no improvements in every single corner. I just slightly fast exit, but it resulted in still a tie. Now that's a slightly better run, but it's only like 2/10. Oh, I got out of that. Like, I would like 19 low, I should be able to do that, but for some reason that's just not the pace that the car's giving me. Oh, there was a massive amount of time in just the final corner. I knew there would be some time. Yeah, 1.3 still off pole. And about half a second off the next car. Yikes. Yikes, fam. About the fuel as well. So yeah. So, right, we need a bit of fuel for the race, but we don't actually need that much fuel because we have to... I'll do 2 mandatory pit stops, so... Really... We can take any fuel that we actually need on board and do it. .6 now. I'm not even able to... I mean, I was able to finally go mid-19s, but I wasn't even able to go low 19s, and then some guy goes 77. Or at least there's something, because he's not going, well, low 17s. I mean, I'm the fastest Bentley at least. Oh, come on. I got displaced to active P9. But it's still the fastest Bentley. There's only Porsche, Lambo, NSX, Audi. Is that an Evo 2? Yeah, it's an Evo 2. A Lexus, a MUQU, no, Porsche, and me. Then, and there's a BMW behind me. I mean, there's not even that many BMWs. There's a decent amount of McLarens and actually Porsche. Is the Porsche actually really good on that circuit? I know it was, I think, in the past, but I thought it might have changed. Whatever. Somebody just DQ'd themselves. Yeah, I think if the NSX driver wants to start off the back, okay. Well.
You look so calm. I mean, I expected you to be a bit more happy being the fastest man currently.
There's the audio is looping of like, you look so calm, and then somebody writes in the chat, you look so calm. For fucking sakes, this stuff is just I think the problem is if you turn the ambient audio off, like, you lose certain other sound effects as well. It's just, this broadcast goes on your fucking nerves when you're standing in the pits. It would be nice if we could just get rid of that. I want the rest of the ambient audio, like... what is it called? Everybody's shitposting this stuff. Lol. Okay then. Oh well. Actually, I wanted to increase by 0.6 most likely. Okay. Probably a good idea to actually increase by quite a bit, even. So, we are allowed to refuel. So we can check is... Well, yeah, I mean, you can't do it separately. It literally can't be configured like that. Can't do that in ACC. Oh, there's Luke. Yeah, we only need to do tire changes. Rest is fine. So. Let me just briefly reopen the setup. Nothing in... Oh, I actually just remembered we forgot to save the Bentley setup. What am I saying? The Bentley setup. I forgot to save the Hungary setup. Oh no, I don't think I changed much. I think I just changed the TC and that's it. I think TC and tire pressures were the only changes I did to the car. And I think I lowered the toe on the rear, which probably was one of the reasons why the thing oversteered that much out of the final corner. Oh yeah, right. Okay then, we should probably switch the basic headlights on so the car has lights. How many tire sets do we have? Infinite. Okay. Yeah, tire set 2 is burned, tire set 3 isn't. Right then. Turn the ABS up. Move brake bias backwards. And start braking. Sorry, I'm far forward. He's driving with the Mad Panda livery. It's such an interesting team name, Mad Panda. I can only hope that we one day maybe get an Asia DLC. We're gonna get already nightfall before the freaking formation lap is done. I think I should have put more pressure into the tires. Nah, whatever. Because let's watch the temperature. We're already down 2 centigrades. By the time we're gonna start, I'm down so far that I've got to run the same pressures that I had in freaking qualifying. But if we do have a decent cloud cover, which should perhaps save us a bit from, you know, dropping too much temperature. But yeah, the esports line is somebody's driving the esports line over here. Because yeah, this is the RF2 esports line here. There's actually a Maldonado clip of him driving down here and spinning out. Highly entertaining stuff. Oh, welcome back. I guess you want to go on for a bit. Just in time. Well. I qualified P9. Actually P8 with extra steps. Because one of the NSX in the front had decided to DQ himself. But yeah, we're obviously the fastest Bentley. I think we're the only Bentley even on the grid total. The temperatures started off in this session with 23 degrees Celsius compared to qualifying 24. I did increase the tire pressure by I think 0.7. But I think now we're gonna be back to 26.9s like in qualifying. And I'm an absolute idiot right now on the formation here and going way too fast forward. Let's start moving the brake bars forward. Granted, he's staying relatively far back from the car in front. But still, I'm not in the green area. Because yeah, the formation started when there was still sunlight out. Now it's definitely night already. Alright then, start us as always down the hill. I've set everything up. 20 degrees now. Yikes. Don't take us on the grass. I wouldn't go on the grass because I don't need any more cooling for my tires. They're cold enough. I was running fairly open brake ducts already. Come on, MUQU! We can do this!
Clear on the left.
Well, you did it. I didn't. We just somehow actually got the car stopped and didn't crash into anyone, which is impressive. Because I did not see my braking point. Oh yeah, right, I should probably switch the high beams on. But considering these guys also qualified half a second faster than me, it's... I think the result right now is not particularly too surprising. Except I think for the MUQU, actually the MUQU qualified only about a 10th in front of me. The Lexus is a bit out of place. Yes, I was generous in saying I'm gonna get up to 26.9 because it doesn't seem I'm getting even close to that. And the guys in front are just escaping. I've seen actually races done with 2.4 hours with 10 times multiplier. So you also get 24 hours that way. I've seen also 2.4 hours done with normal multipliers. It's the more usual way to do it. Because in AC the track temp doesn't matter in comparison to RF2. Where in RF2 you can run this and like, it's just, hey, you need to switch your lights on at night because otherwise you get instantly DQ'd. Not quite instantaneously, you have 16 seconds when you turn your headlights off. Fuck.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Let's see. Who's gonna suck more on the straightaway, the Porsche or the Bentley? Is it enough for blind attack? Yeah. I wouldn't roll the dice on the 16 seconds. The thing is with RF2, you do have to switch your headlights off to flash. Because there's no dedicated flash button. Which is why I developed this sim hub extension just so I can flash, so I don't get myself DQ'd. Because it has happened to me. And I proceed to immediately blow less sauce again. Wait a second, don't I know this livery from somewhere? Nah.
Car on the left.
Don't.
Yellow flag. Watch out.
Oh god, there's two cars on the wall there. Ripperoni. Yeah, I think the Porsche is just like, well, this is what probably would have happened if I tried to pass him. And you're damn right. I'm probably stopping to put the fight up to him. He's clearly quicker and I'm not going particularly fast. Embarrassingly slow, actually. Although he's weirdly struggling in some sections to follow me. He's maybe dependent on aero and I'm taking all the aero away from him, which he's a Porsche after all, this wouldn't be too surprising. Or he has a high-speed setup. Hello, car. Would you kindly not try to kill me? Good old crunch. Yeah. It will be interesting to look at the replay for that one.
Well done, mate. This is me, your personal best.
20.1 is not terrible. Not particularly great either. Yeah, I think this guy is really good in his slow speed corner, so that quick drive, but his setup I think is suboptimal. He's driving a worse car than me. You almost spin in the last chicane on entry? That is interesting. The last chicane I run risk of overshooting. And you obviously risk a wheel spin on the exit again. With certain cars. Like the boat. And it's definitely a hotspot for me to lose a lot of time. Sorry. Keeping the gap relatively stable to the Porsche behind. Has definitely won different sections a lot quicker than each other. Middle sector is where he struggles, but my car seems to be built for that. He seems to really excel in the low speed stuff.
Falling behind the car in front in sector 2. Well done,
Yes,
mate.
thank you.
Personal fastest lap.
And I missed turn 1 again. As I said, that corner just fucking cursed. Like, I can't do it. But yeah, I mean, I struggled in that corner quite a bit. So... Oh yeah, I have to start thinking perhaps of pitting, because I didn't take that much fuel in all honesty. For some reason I thought my car needs about 70 liters to finish the race, which, yeah, that works on a half an hour race, but it doesn't work on a 1 hour race. Sure, we have 2 pit stops, still doesn't quite add up together. Right, there's Merc on Merc action. That is actually for position in front. Between those two. Obviously all of them are also for position with me. But you know how it is oftentimes in lapped cars. Get involved in shenanigans. But in-game time is it actually, which is a problem because my chat is covering that up. And oh, I promptly missed this corner again. Oh god. Yeah, you would have to pit every single lap. And you have to still like feel safe during that one lap you do. I mean, I don't know how high actually the the multiplier goes for fuel and stuff. Well, does AC even have them? I think it has. Doesn't it? I mean, most sims have it, but I think AC might not have any fuel and tire multiplier. I think AC genuinely don't have that. I was trying to check what time it is, but I think we're heading towards sunrise right now. And I can check how far we're into the race. Gives us a rough idea. We're 12 minutes roughly into the race.
The car is exiting the pits of the jam.
And we've also like taken a long formation lap, so yeah, I think we're gonna see sunrise sooner rather than later. I have another 5 laps to go before I need to pit. But none of the front runners seem to have actually pitted early on. Yeah, I'm pretty right, I think, with like their sunrise right now, right around the corner. I mean, this is the Spa24 in terms of like time slot, which means sunrise and sunset are very early. You have a very short night. So most tracks you have a very short night. But as somebody who knows Daytona, 24. If you race on the Daytona road course on RF2, you have a very long night. Wasn't a validation, but not track cut. That's good. Well, yeah, we're starting to see sunrise right now. How much fuel do I actually need? Yeah, my tire pressure is starting to come up. 56 liters to get to the end, actually. You know, the funny thing is, I think I'm gonna put the same tire pressure on.
Losing to the car heading sector 1. But I'll make my fastest step so far.
But yeah, as we do have to pit twice, it doesn't really make sense to pit sooner or later. Cars in front are running away, the car behind is keeping track of me. But on the idea of like 24 hours and 24 times fuel consumption, I had a thought of like, you know that this track here, Spa, is relatively close to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It's like a 1.5 hour drive away. It's basically nothing. It's around the corner. Of like, you know, wouldn't it be kind of like cool to like make a old style road rally circuit that would connect those two circuits? So using the real life, so having a racetrack that consists out of a lap of Spa, then you drive over to Nürburgring Nordschleife and drive a lap there and drive back in AC. I think that would start stretching the engine's capacity, because we're still talking about a lot of kilometers between those two locations. It is relatively close, as I said, for 1.5 hours of drive, and with a race car you would with a GT3 car probably at that point struggle to actually get a lap completed. And I promptly missed the corner here. WSC weekend event. Yeah. But yeah, with a GT3 you would start to struggle to actually complete a lap. You would need like a pit stop at the halfway point. Which you could totally actually do with that track, with such a track. Just put the pit lane somewhere at the end of the lap. In the middle of the lap, you can totally do that. Nothing in AC forbids that. And have different layouts for where you have the pit lane, where you have the start line. Obviously, in that situation, you wouldn't be able to, you know, drive more than one lap. If you have the pit at the halfway point already. The thing is, a lot of race cars go about as far as the GT3 cars, so the GT3 cars are decent measurements. But obviously, if you use like a historic Formula 1 or like a 1960s sports car, I mean a Le Mans sports car. If you use something like that, those should go like over 2.5 hours on a fuel tank. Those fuckers last on fuel basically forever. But yeah, I can switch back to normal headlights, I would say. Okay, there's a bunch of people calling into the pits. I have 2 more laps of fuel, so I will go around the guys again. Wait for tire pressures to increase a bit more, I guess. I don't know, I think I will just slap my starting pressures on. Just pick a log straight on the road. Like 30 minutes flat out. I think actually the road bits that you would have from there to from Spa to Nürburgring are actually like not like Autobahn and stuff like that. You actually don't have Autobahn stretches. Really. You would probably have quite a bit of like dual lane roads and stuff like that. Obviously the biggest problem with this entire thing is like modeling this gigantic thing and seeing if the AC engine will even take it. I mean, with the double precision physics fix, which makes Shotoko way more drivable, it should be doable to at least drive on it, but the map would still be larger than Shotoko. To just give the idea of this, the scope of that. Like, the entire length of the Shotoko road mesh is the length of about from one track to the other. It's, I think close to 100 kilometers or so. Yeah, I mean, you're heading out of the Ardennes over into the Eifel. Past the Rhine, so you're probably not gonna be going particularly flat in that section. Although there should be still like straights like the Master Straight on the old Spa. Straight bits like that you will still most likely encounter. You know what? Fuck it, we're gonna come in now. And the Porsche is actually following me back. Win! Wow. Well. Okay. Add a bit of fuel and actually reduce the tire pressure, I think. Because right now they actually had crept up very quickly. This is definitely a bit different. I don't know, because maybe he's out of fuel and has to come in as well. Oh my god, how he's stuck in my gearbox. He will probably jump me, however, now in the pit cycle. Because I'm not too familiar with how I need to line my box up again with the boat. And the Porsche is really quick on pit stops. It's a really good car if you need to do pit stops with it. Oh, that was bad. I thought I had it right. And they moved me so massively around. Like, I was pretty sure I was in the right position. I guess a bit further forward, but like, it was just completely wrong. Actually, we did beat the Porsche. We did beat the Porsche still. Like, what the hell did you do? What the hell did the Porsche do? We actually beat him. But we did get jumped by Konoman, I think. I think he was behind us. So the Beamer beat us, actually. So, the Porsche and me were fighting, and then the Beamer jumped both of us. In a massive twist of irony. I mean, both of us must have fucked up our pit alignment, and the Beamer is also equipped with the same gearbox as the Porsche. So, I mean, not the same gearbox, the same gearbox system as the Porsche. Which means you can just drive away on the starter, you don't need to use the clutch to drive away. So, you just put your foot on the throttle, have the car in first gear, and when the car drops, have a finger on the starter, and the thing will just drive away on the starter. It's frankly nuts how that thing pulls away. The Audi has it as well. The old Porsche doesn't, and the old Beamer doesn't have it as well. A lot of cars have launch control for those situations, but they don't have... Ooh, slight bit of oversteer there. Seems, however, the Beamer is not that quick in a straight line in comparison to me. Which is saying something, because, I mean, the Bentley isn't that quick in a straight line. He did drop me for the 2 hairpins there. There's Krebs out in front with his Porsche. He dropped also, it seems, a few positions. We did, I think, net gain actually position. Net actually stay the same position. Not change our position, despite dropping the position directly to one of the cars we're fighting with. that's not fun. That's not a fun sound. You put load on your rig and it's just like.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
I'm very close out of this section here. Probably my best bet is into the chicane on him. Well, I'm closing a bit too quickly here. Might have to lift before Blanchimont. Yeah, lifted slightly for Blanchimont there. Just lost momentum. Did I hit him? I don't think so.
Clear on the left.
But let's just stay behind, I would say.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Well, is he letting me know by hair? What's going on here? Because I didn't feel any contact. Oh, now we have the Porsche behind directly. What is happening? Why is the Porsche so quick?
Clear on the right.
And then comes the Beamer back.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Oh, this is an epic battle here.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
I'm pretty sure that guy's also for position. So I am like the massive loser out of this entire thing. God damn it. Oh, that's a bit wide, and then comes the Lambo again. Oh, I think I know what is happening here. That is Renault, who was... He had qualified, I think, P2, but 3/10 off that... the pole sitter. I don't know why he's behind us now. But he is. And well, he probably wants to go by. The Porsche made their mistake, but I'm probably gonna run in his back again prior to Blanchimont. Which is a massive disadvantage when that happens. I don't know.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
But I blow the code up.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Ooh! Renault, please! That became a bit too close. Now I have a bit of a gap to the next car behind. Yeah, the temperatures have actually shot up now, and I have not compensated enough against the temperature increase.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
Yeah, I should have probably looked at the temperature graph before I headed into this race. And now the Beamer has quite materialized himself into the distance. Let's see, can we run these guys down? Especially if Renault passes them. Which he will probably do at some point. Looking around the outside, but I very much appreciate how he's Forcing the Porsche to defend there. I mean, I was in a tricky position because I was trying to pass the Porsche and didn't want to give up my chance by letting it by. But then again, the Porsche is not quite in that position now. He should honestly just try and let it by and follow him. Which is now what is happening. He's now letting him by. Because now he really needed it to do it. Because if he did it any later, he would have been at risk to lose the position to me. Although, he's coming back now on the Lambo.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
My terrible source is really not helping me. Codeman has actually escaped a bit. Coderman. Yeah, tire pressure's on the high side, but not terribly high. Honestly, we could have totally done with one tire stop. But no, we have to do another one. I mean, I got away with quite a bit of cutting myself. I've invalidated quite a few laps so far already. So, there's that. You might be getting away with them.
Yellow flag, be careful there.
Because that's also like an invalidation, or should be. Yep. It was an invalidation again, but no track cut. Because I went slightly slower than my best time. Through there. Help me. Oh, he's hit the curb there, but he could stay flat. And now I'm in that attack, but I'm too close right now actually.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left.
And now I'm gonna get out-dragged by the Porsche.
Clear on the left.
And the more we fight, the more we lose. To the Beamer in front. Who's actually escaping with 19.6s, so the Beamer's not going slow at all. I can't match those times. Robo behind is the NSX who had taken the DQ in qualifying. He's closing in rapidly. He's 10 seconds behind, but he will probably catch us before the end of the race. The Porsche is struggling up the hill here. Unfortunately for me, I'm struggling as well there.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
And we've actually leveraged past them. I think he has collected enough track cuts that he needs to worry at the... Ooh, that was a bit close, man. That he needs to worry about the track cuts at the top of the hill. Which has led him to lift there quite a bit. He did slow down. Cost him quite a bit of time. We are under 5 laps actually on fuel again. How many clicks did I take out of the tires? I think 2 or 3? Something like that. 1, 2. Yeah, I think I took 2 out of them. Right. How long is left in the race? 23 minutes. The beamer's calling in now. And the robo is calling in. Okay. I need to come in next time by. To compensate against those two. 1, 2, 3. I want to drop by 4. Additionally, or 3. Well, you missed me dominating in Hungaroring, and right now engaged and you missed an epic battle between a BMW, a Porsche, and me in the Bentley. And a Lambo. Where the positions completely rotated every 3 corners or so. That was definitely a very nice battle. And those two have, the Beamer and the Porsche have called into the pit, so we have to actually now counter for our final pit stop. Them coming in early. Been fairly slow in this stint, but also the temperatures have gone up, so... Leave it at the setting that I have it. I lost a bit of time there, that's not good. Can't really afford losing time. Okay, we need to take enough fuel to get to the end. Didn't check that. Should be fine on that front as well. Lambo is coming in. And we're following him in. Let's see if I can actually line it up correctly this time. Alright then, yeah, it's actually predicting down to 20 liters, so we should be fine. Most likely. Fuel. Well. What were the temperatures again? Oh yeah, the temperatures are starting to drop again. So... it should be fine. Pressure adjustments there. Ah, I'm too far back this time around. I didn't get it aligned twice. I didn't check if I had any damage. But I think I didn't even contact anyone. I think there was some ghost contact to the beamer. Because he did shoot wide there a bit. Yeah, Kunderman is coming by actually right now. Come on. Slightly too fast on the clutch there. Slowed for a second. Kunderman is coming whizzing by. Yep, he's by there, the beamer. Not seeing the... ah, there's the Porsche. So both of them jumped me by quite a bit. The undercut worked quite successfully for those two. That is very surprising how much they beat me by. Granted, I also didn't quite nail my pit box, which probably cost me a second or two. Which could make the difference here. The MUQU has actually cycled back into this battle, so all of the cars in front have done their pit stop. Not all of the cars, but the cars in front of me do have their pit stop done. The battle in front, those have pit stops done. Pretty sure we're gonna gain a few more positions and get into the top 10 per default, but those two guys fighting there. The more they fight, the more it's beneficial for me to closing them back in. But they seem to not cost each other too much time. Oh, the Porsche got a drive-through. And I got 2 track limits time invalidation. But the Porsche has a drive-through. Unfortunately, he's out of the race. Effectively. Pain picker. There goes the Porsche. It was a nice battle with you. Unfortunately, it was racing very respectfully. Well, it is one of the fastest cars in the game. I don't think it is quite the fastest car on this track, but it is up there. It's decent enough. There's some very good drivers here for sure. And I think I'm going personally pretty slow today. Like, I should be faster on what I'm doing, but it is what it is. Yeah, we were running prior to the pit stop in, I think... we had cycled back, I think, to P9 or something. Due to being passed by a bunch of guys. I seem to be maybe gaining on the MUQU in front. Tire pressure is actually low, what? Whatever. It's a MUQU anyway. I think we'll run away on the straightaways. Especially if I fuck up this corner completely. And drop 2 tenths immediately that way. And invalidate another lap, which means I'm not getting a delta. Yikes. Doesn't seem to be going that quick actually on the straightaway. I'm gaining on him. Oh, he got held up badly by the back marker there. That pink BMW is a back marker. And he got held up badly there. Yes, that's a 20 flat that I did. Which, considering my pace today, is not too terrible. With under one of my faster laps. Considering it had a massive error in it. That invalidated it as well. So that's just... And again invalidated. I'm collecting track cuts like Pokemon. Today again. At least it's not track cut warnings. Usually you collect those here. I just invalidate my laps. Romanians? Well, you probably looked at the SGP side. Well, that Merc definitely is struggling a bit. Like, he's holding actually the beam up right now. And Backmark is actually being held up here. But this is gonna turn interesting because that will be a fight here. But we also have actually, you know, I just noticed this is gonna turn very interesting because we have the guy that qualified P3 and had decided to start off the back of the grid. He's about 1.3 seconds behind me right now. And we have how long to go? Not long. I know that. 12 minutes. Actually pretty long. This is gonna very quickly become very interesting. We're closing slightly also on the beamer in front, but he's 8 seconds up the road, so that's not gonna happen most likely. Yeah, don't underestimate the Romanians. In general, don't underestimate Eastern Europe. I know enough fast Hungarians to be really afraid of them. But yeah, I think we're gonna lose your position and gain a position. And gaining a position, I'm not sure about. Because Jesus Christ, this guy has gained half a second by just driving down this straightaway. I'm not joking. Granted, it's an NSX. He doesn't have anything but straight line speed. And a driver behind you can drive through the rest of the corners. I think that Merc might have taken... Because in the beginning of the race he was actually pretty quick. No joke, the guy was actually pretty quick at the beginning. Since then he has been struggling. Oh yeah, that's slow. So at least. But he still has enough exit speed. Definitely that NSX is set up for speed, motherfucker. Because he's dropping time to me. And that driver in equal cars would not drop time to me in the middle sector. Except he's now in the last two corners gained back on me. Motherfucker, how? What the hell is happening here at times? It's not like I can defend much again. Could you kindly, like, not do something like this?
Clear on the right.
You know what? Like, fuck it. Just go at this point. Just... Give you... Yeah, I mean, he went exploring the track limits there, but, you know, that's fine. I'm gonna actually gain another position here because of someone in the pits. Or it looked like it. Maybe the guy is actually out of the pits now. Ooh, there was contact in front. Those two touched. And the Merc is actually going quick right now. I lost some time. The unfortunate part, the NSX has not gone by him. And I'm not stuck. Please, NSX. Should I, like, help you or something? You know, donate some spare downforces. That's too quick, mates.
Car on the right.
Sorry. Just go for it, man. Just get by him finally as well. I know you're way quicker than both of us. It's not much of a competition. But if you're gonna turn stupid, I'm gonna pass you again. It's very simple. Because I want that MUQU. Ooh! Oh!
Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on
Nope.
the left. Clear on the left.
If you continue driving like that, we're gonna actually defend against you. You clearly have the pace, you just need to line it up. And not do stupid shit. Yeah. And the thing is, he can't really gain much. He just needs to pass us too. There's no further positions he's probably gonna gain before the end of this race. It's not like he can gain much more positions than us too.
Car on the right.
And he has all the time in the world, 7 minutes. It's not like he's gonna run Coderman down. Like, I mean, Coderman is not going much faster than us too, but still, that's gonna be like 8 seconds or so. There's not enough time to do that. Would be possible if we had like 20 minutes or half an hour to go. But with 6 minutes on the clock, it's just not gonna add up. Especially if you're struggling anyway to pass us already. That's more like it, although, again, the NSX seems to really struggle with its downforce. Now get close behind that rear wing of the MUQU and just get him finally. Because I want my shot at him as well. Ooh. He's gonna do another pass off track limits.
On the left. Clear on the left.
Luckily he saw me. Right. Now, finally, we can get to the main course here. So night starts to fall. And the tire pressures to absolutely fall off a cliff for me. F's in the chat for that one. That's an oof from me in terms of the tire pressures. Marcus. Like you're saying my line 1 lap was sketchy, but that MUQU line there was sketchy as all hell. He's fast on a straight line. Ooh, just about. Yeah, I mean, the race started effective. Well, the formations lap started at about this amount of lighting, and then the formation lap then took so long that it was night at the time we actually started. So that is hilarious in its own right. Bump him off, nah. Racing the fair and square. If possible. Oh god. I'm getting too close here. Let me get out of your slipstream, I don't want overspeed. So, and then we have the draft. Are you gonna go defensive a bit?
Car on the right.
Oh, Rubber is actually into the pits. What?
Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Now, the MUQU is not slow in a straight line, but if he struggles up the hill again, we're gonna be golden. Because once he hit the middle sector, he's not gonna be able to keep up with me. Yeah, he stayed flat. he went completely off track.
Exceeding track limits.
Even I got a track limit warning there. That's a bit of a yikes, fam. You wanna go defensive into the corner?
Car on the left.
Well, he's drawn alongside,
Clear on the left.
but he's overcommitted himself. That car behind is a lap down, so... Switch on high beams.
In sector 3.
So the night falls. So I'm gonna go completely blind here. We have about 4 laps worth of fuel left. There's a minute 40 on the clock. We are more than fine. Penultimate, I think, at this point.
The leader is on the
Yep, precisely.
final push.
Penultimate here. Oh fuck. That's not good. Major mess up again. I've so often driven off the road here now, this race. And he's right there now in striking distance again. I was running away and then... Yeah, it gets very quickly dark obviously when you have 24 times acceleration. It will just go click. I mean, it goes dark relatively quickly in normal conditions, but 24x it will obviously go click. Right, 7 tenths up on him. Let's nail this one final time. Ooh. She is a bit struggling, I think. The hell? That's good enough. He's getting fought by the back marker. I don't know why the fuck the back marker wants to get involved in this shit. It's like, come on, you can see there's a battle for position here. Just back out. You're not winning here. When there was time, when it was about 10-20 minutes to go, I could understand you passing us and battling with us to perhaps do positions, but like, you're not. You're P16, you're very safe yourself, and well, the guy in front of you is also not for position for you. That's actually a lapped car even for him.
Leader has finished the race.
I didn't give him a heart attack here. But I've only collected 1 track cut, so... Despite invalidating a shit ton of laps. Oh, this has been like hilarious when there was such good battles here. And there was such clean racing also. Like there was so much respect given from every driver. Like everyone I raced here, like Teufel, like Weffling there, like there were a bunch of them. Weffling and obviously Koderman. So much respect from all of them. And Renault. Don't forget Renault and who was it? I mean, the NSX was a bit aggressive, but he still didn't like thrash us off the road. I know it's low bar, but like,
Alright, check it flag. Good job. You did the best you could. I'll bring the
you know, the Aris community is a very large Discord, and still that people that turn up to a fun event here like are just this cleanly racing in the midfield is decently surprising, to say the least. That was a good race. Okay. P7 in the end, which is ironic because we got the 777 with P7. Smug. All of that is coming together nicely. Alright then. Where did actually our... Yeah, Teufel finished P12 after his Russian penalty. Robo finished P13. Oh, he is about to finish P13. So yeah. This has not gone too well for them. How many... Jesus Christ. By invalidated laps list, there's yeah, this screen is very red, let's just say. Lap 1 is valid, lap 3 is... Oh, fuck off, let me have my valid lap list. So, lap 1 is valid, lap 3 is valid, lap 4, lap 5, then lap 11, lap 15, lap 20, lap 21, 22, 23. Yeah. And there are 25 laps, and I got 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 valid ones. I didn't even get half of the valid. I invalidated. Granted, all the pit stops are also included here, which are a few. Like, there's a few in and out laps here, obviously included, that got invalidated due to this. Just another 4 laps, but still at least half the laps still are invalidated. Yep. It was definitely nice. Teufel already left. The guys have fought. Yeah, everybody besides Renault left. Basically. Okay, there are few people on the server. Maybe I would like perhaps GG to... Well, they've left. Let's leave. We've done our race. Let's just look at the replays. Because they automatically save, so we don't have to worry about them. Right, gallery. Automatically save. We want to look at the Hungary race. It didn't save, I think, my replay from Spa from the Qualy. That's strange. That should have saved, but it didn't. Hungarian qualifying is there, but not the... not qualifying. It's not like I'm running out of qualifying slots. I still have the brands qualifying. What do I have as minimum time set for replay to autosave? I think we might have just slightly gone under that. General settings. A minimum replay time for autosave 5 minutes. No, we definitely went over that for the qualifying. I don't know. Bugged out, it seems. In any case, the races are there, which is the more part. Well, that's automatically saved mean it doesn't automatically... Nah, we have only 2 qualifying sessions, actually. I think I've set more than that up. Right, we're gonna go briefly to Hungary first. Yeah. Gonna do them in the order. There's not much, I think, to, like, think about too much. Because it was mainly over by the time we hit turn 1. Although he did follow me for a few laps, but, well, it... Just watch from... There's... As I mentioned, this is actually a non-Evo Audi. So we have a non-Evo Audi, and then we have an Evo 2 Audi. This is an Audi completely without any Evo upgrades. Which you do notice from the aero pieces in the back, in that case, and the... Because as you see, the back is in that case streamlined, and the front looks different, which is a bit more difficult to show. The normal Evo Audi has this rear wing on the back, instead of the Evo 2, which has this very complicated rear wing. And the Evo 1 Audi has also this steering wheel, while the Evo 2 Audi has this steering wheel. This is the differences between the cars, right? In any case, I think the main reason why Matt finished so far back is because, yeah, I think the Audi non-Evo is not particularly that quick, probably, and I don't think he did any qualifying or practice at all. So, I mean, he's not flying off the circuit, he's actually staying on the circuit and getting around it. He's just massively off the pace. But otherwise, he's doing a fair job. You know? He's slow, but he's not like terrible. He's just getting slowly around the circuit, and there's obviously the film car. She did stay quite a bit with me. This guy did drop time over time, but like I don't think there's like... I mean, he finished 3 seconds roughly behind this guy. He just drew out like time over time. Is he like closing in or something? I wouldn't really say so. I could probably actually, because this race is over for a bit, we could have perhaps here a decent breakdown on SRGP already. Which SRGP has pretty decent results, usually. Where you can check a gaps chart, which protocols how far back someone is. Right, and when looking at Kenny following Dow, I think Dow never made really a mistake. They just were both slow, and sometimes one of them gained on the other. They were the closest in the last like 2 laps or so, but I don't think there was much to trigger that. Really. You can obviously see if the car's damaged. You know, it doesn't look damaged. At least from this perspective. Oh no, it definitely is. Like, there's definitely a hood pop. That car definitely took some damage at some point. There's hood flap already. What point does it start? Okay, lap 4 is the culprit. Let's find out, when does he crash into something? Oh, here. That's in part what took him out. He decided to not pit to repair the car. Which, in all honesty, was a sensible decision, because he did not drop the position to Kenny, because Kenny was just a bit too slow to actually capitalize on the damaged car. Mappa has actually scored not completing the final lap? Or my replay probably saved before he did, actually. He had not completed the final lap yet. prior to my replay saving. Because I think my replay... Where does my replay save? I already... Yeah, I think the session switches over too quickly for him. He's in like sector 1 while I have finished. Not too terrible. Yeah, but really I think there was nothing much to talk about in this one. I think talked even more than I needed to. We've checked where the additional Audi came from, we checked all of those things. So that was the quick one. Let's go to the actually interesting one. the Spa race. And this here is... Okay, we want to look at the start obviously. There's Coderman, by the way, starting behind me. There's, by the way, the Mercedes that I would end up battling with quite a bit. I think, what was it? Vefla, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm terrible enough with names in usual circumstances. I'm getting close to this Porsche. It's not Käufer. Käufer is actually here behind us. The 420. Which car? Mine or the other, or this Mad Panda car? Which is, this is base game livery actually. This is a base game livery. This is obviously with the in-game livery editor. This as well. This must be actually also base game. Because there's logos and stuff on it. Also custom livery that for some reason I have downloaded. I'm the only one. Okay, mine. Yeah, the Aris livery. I think I'm gonna replace it sooner rather than later, although. As I've started to drive for a different EC team, New Motion Racing, to do my endurance driving with them. So I think I'm probably gonna switch off my Aris liveries. Until I have a design or anything, because I think I will make something fully custom for the Bentley. And I mean the team has green in its color set, so we'll see what I replace that in the end. Because sure I can work with black and grey and stuff, but like and white. I'm not green. Green I'm not the biggest fan of. So I think we'll replace it for personal reasons with like purple or something we need. So let's figure out which lap actually the massive accident on top of the roof was. Yep, there the cars are. We wanted to definitely find out what happened to those two. Ah, that is Renault. That's why he ended up behind us. Well. So what happened? We have here the number 10 Audi, the Porsche and the Lambo in front. Let's see, back from the Lambo. Oh! Lambo. Two single car accidents over the top, so... Yeah, the Porsche starts twitching already mid-corner here. And he loses it, and the Lambo... like, the Porsche just goes already mid-corner here. Yeah, he hits the curb and that unsettles the car and he's not able to save it. He just puts too much steering inputs in there. Yeah, he put too much steering input to the left. That was too hard of a reaction. The car just needed a gentle left steer. But he put a very hard left steer, immediately a right steer, then that just started the pendulum effect up. Yeah. Boom. Ouch. That was hard impact. The Lambo in comparison just did a he got loose over the crest here. And then applied the brakes. And he just got tapped on the rear. The Porsche went in hard there, but the Lambo only got tapped in the rear and never actually touched the wall. Ooh, that was lucky. Oh yeah, I mean definitely. It was very unfortunate. There was very little steering input he actually did. He did it very rapidly and that was just too much. Like the steering lock is so little on the port. I've had that issue at Watkins where the car was too responsive for me, especially with the stupid toe setup. The other car was just way too responsive. With the broken toe setting. He actually, like, just considering Renault is now... He probably never repaired the damage, which is why he came by us in the second stint. Because he's here at this point. And like, we're in the middle of the next corner here. Now another interesting point in this race definitely was that fight in the pit lane. Because we're coming in here. And here's the Beamer. Let's just watch here. I pull into my box, I misalign. I knew that. So here comes the Beamer. Do we see him go up the tracks? Yeah, we hear him getting the fueling, or was that my fueling rig? I think it was my fueling rig or something. In any case, it seems he's like perfectly aligned or something. Fuck, I got the wrong car. Still waiting. And there comes the beam off the jacks and immediately rolls. At this point, I've already pulled out, but like... What do you mean the Beamer livery? There's the Porsche rolling as well. Just behind me. And there's a decent question, where's Renault in this situation? But there's the MUQU, by the way, coming by. So maybe the MUQU took at some point damage, because look how far he's ahead at this point. And we're gonna right now go into a massive battle. Of epic proportions. So... Yep, back here's Renault, by the way. Like, just the distance we are, it's like... He's gonna turn this battle in a minute around. No questions asked. That will in a minute turn around completely. I think I'm just gonna let it roll and not skip even. I'm just gonna watch from the Porsche. Although I'm gonna grab some water for a moment. Although I think the epic showdown happens in about 1.5 laps. So... I mean, I kind of... I mean, definitely my boat livery like this is kind of nice. And not the livery decal itself, like... I mean... I don't dislike it too much, honestly, the Beamer. I don't dislike the Beamer too much. I mean, the front end at least looks not particularly total shit like it does on the road car version, which just the road car version is absolutely garbage, but on the race car it at least looks passable. I mean, there's definitely worse looking cars. I think the MUQU doesn't actually look that great. In like, I think the front end on the MUQU looks best on the older variants. On the not Evo variants. The Evo just looks like Kirby. And the back end looks best on the unmodified version. The back end looks on both versions not particularly that great. I think also the road car version doesn't look that great. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the BMW doesn't look too bad, but the Porsche looks hot AF on all sides. Well, the Porsche doesn't look that great, but the new one, definitely. That's a looker, for sure. Now, let's watch. So where's Renault at this point? We have a moment till the battle actually commences. He's here. Like, he were pixels in the distance on the camera straight like 2 laps ago at this point. 1.5 to 2 laps ago, and he's right behind us, and we haven't even started battling yet. We've just been driving around. Because now this thing will kick off. The Porsche is very far back, so we'll get for the first watch from me. Although the Porsche will close in massively, so I'll probably be behind. So I'm behind here. I think he slightly lifted upon me moving there to switch line. I back out. But I think he just doesn't have the drive from his inside line there. I think he was full throttle, he just didn't have drive. I mean, I've always said that Ferdinand Porsche is definitely an ass man. And there comes the Porsche back by. He got a better drive out of the corner, but now watch us go side by side. Porsche is struggling, I'm off the track, and there comes the Beamer. And I'm giving the Porsche a bump draft. Getting the for the Flugkatastrophe. What livery is this? What team is he running? That's interesting. Yeah, the Beamer's by. And the Porsche and I'm still going side by side, but the Porsche wins out here. And now there's Renault behind. So he's like, well, could you kindly, like, let me by? It's really interesting with the Bentley that you can like see the differential on the back. Flugkatastrophe. I've read that out loud. Flugkatastrophe. What does that translate to? What's the translation to this entire thing? It's a bit difficult to like get free cam with. So the best actually is, funnily enough, is me going side by side with him. Because I can demonstrate it at best there. Now we're getting closer. Well, it's probably just best to switch camera again. Right, yeah. In memory of the victims of the catastrophic flooding, because there was last year that immense flood in the Eifel region. It probably isn't that familiar in like worldwide news. People that might follow the because I think the guy that like does a lot of Nürburgring stuff that drove the what is it, Daihatsu? Fucking slow car around during the N24, he made a video covering this, but I think outside of that, people most likely haven't heard of that catastrophe last year. Outside of Germany. Yeah, I think this is a base game livery of some team that ran it in 2022. Pretty sure that must be like some base game Porsche livery. I'm gonna check that. Because I'm pretty sure I haven't downloaded anything like that. I mean, it's possible that with something it came and this guy's running it. I've somehow got Käufer's personal livery. Looking at the names on the doors, the GT series sticker that was there, I'm pretty sure this is base game. Right then, okay, I'm gonna now... Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, a slow news cycle. I think a lot of people hear about things in the world, it's just, depends on how long it stays in the news cycle. It's been on and off still in the news cycle here in Germany, and they're completely blown and lose 3 positions in the process. But yeah. And now we have the bug of like having every time I time skip the fucking pit stop sound. Yeah, we bled a bit of time there for sure. But we did, upon him getting past, close back up to him. Let's skip a bit. I think the next lap it is. I'm closer this time around. So let's watch this. He took a bit much curb there, but he wasn't completely understeering off the circuit. Here again, draft. Going side by side again. Oh, on this side it actually is written in English. I just noticed. On the left side of the car it is written in German, as I've read it out. But on the right hand side it is actually written in English. The writing is actually in English on the right hand side of the car. That is interesting. But we unfortunately saw first the left hand side of the car. So... now I've dropped again a lot of time because Lasso sucks. I can't drive it. It's the bane of my existence, but the Porsche had to lift quite a bit through there to coax this car up the hill. And there I come. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. I wanted to go for the, you know, the infamous theme, but I couldn't. But I couldn't, like, think of the beats, so for some reason I ended up with... the Pink Panther. Which is also in its own way hilarious. But yeah, this was... that is such clean driving here. Precisely enough room given as we need to. Get the launch around the outside. Oh, purple. Is it actually purple? Oh yeah, I mean, oh, you're making a joke on based on my livery, aren't you? Sorry, I'm too German for that. I think the show is named Pink Panther. I know a meme of like the to-do list, and it's like to-do, 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 to-do. That's why I keep holding lists. That's funny. Alright then. These guys actually jumped me in the pit stop, so I guess they nailed their pit stop, most likely. Although most likely what Better would tell us is actually just looking at the lap times. Oh, he's didn't see you spawn in there. Yeah, they got going basically simultaneously, so the Porsche had a really good stop there. Yeah, we wanted to check what happened with the MUQU. Yeah, he had pitted twice in a very short succession actually in this race. He pitted lap 9 to lap 10 and then had lap 11 to lap 12 again. Where his pit stops were. While the Porsche here is lap 10, 11 and lap 16, 17. Did just get retired. Where am I? Somewhere. Eventually I'm gonna get to me. Oh, I'm heading into the pits right now. I had lap 10, 11 and lap 17, 18. So something had happened to the MUQU. But yeah, you lose basically nearly a lap there on. So the Porsche had got stuck behind the... Yeah, he had exited in front of the MUQU, but the MUQU did come blasting by him. Without him being able to really do anything, but he got stuck behind him. So he had to try and fight his way by the MUQU. But that seems to... He's a bit back now. Again, he was another car that struggled in the middle sector, but was decently quick in the slow speed corners. I think in part because the strength of the Porsche are slow speed corners, but also just, I think this is a really good driver. If my memory isn't even incorrect, this guy won the Spa 4 hours in a Lambo with his teammates, the SRGP Spa 4 hours. Or am I mistaken for someone else? In any case, I know he's pretty decent quick driver. I think usually I'm not quick enough to challenge him. Yeah, that was me actually heading out of the pits. Hello there, how have you been doing? Oh, the MUQU there. Had a moment. Oh yeah, that MUQU, as mentioned before, was struggling a bit. Yeah, he got slide oversteer while he was still turning right, and then swung the car obviously left to turn left-hander, and that instantly turned into a pendulum effect. And that was, well, not optimum. So that resulted in the Porsche being right behind them. I did not intend to stop there, but I definitely did. Ooh, slight bump there. And by the way, watching this from like back here. Porsche right in the gearbox of the MUQU. Clearly a bit quicker, there's the MUQU wide. But Porsche can't profiteer of it. And unfortunately, this is where disaster strikes, because that gives him the cut track. This is the end of his race. He had a driver at this point and he came in. Excellent chat for that. Well, an epic battle with this guy. Quite. But, well, we still have the MUQU with his old pit pattern. Struggling on his own terms. So yeah. Yeah, we have the lapped car here that is getting involved in this entire thing. Oh yeah, that lapped car had pitted the lap before. And had exited in front of these guys, so... Yeah, and blows the corner here, so... MUQU comes... Yeah, right, that's where the MUQU got held up so badly. I gained massively in that moment on the MUQU. That's where I massively made up ground. Just lap after the Porsche came in. MUQU lost a lot of ground there. Now let's watch it from the back of the beamer. Actually, just switch to wide cam because there's so much beam on the way. He actually lifted off the beamer there. Interesting side note. I mean, there's a bank marker. I'm noticing that the driver could push a bit more, but definitely isn't. But I think that's not because he has a car in front, it's more because he's not the fastest. Oh, and there goes the Merc nearly. Jesus. That's why he lost so much ground on me, because he went on the curb here, it's just like, wheom! The AstroTurf just nearly took him out there. That's why suddenly the back marker was nearly in his gearbox. Here he drove a better line than the back marker, although definitely suffered from a lot of understeer. I'm coming by here. Marker saw me coming and knew, well, these two are battling, so let's just let them by. He did oddly enough get later on in... Yeah, he also saw that this guy was coming down. So I was like, okay, you free now, sort this out. Because now the NSX is coming. Now let's just watch how fast this thing is going. And notice that there's no fucking speedometer in this car. And I can't pull up the HUD because I'm in VR. Not only can I not just pull it up for the stream, but I can't see it either. The HUD button is gone in the replay in VR for some reason. That's who knows why. The mirrors are so weird on the NSX. It's like, yeah, have a few more centimeters down there. Sure, gonna help me much. Granted, you have basically no visibility in this car anyway. Without the rear view camera. It would be absolutely... so fast the speedometer is useless. We do have a speedometer in the Merc here. So we know how fast he will go. Speedometer in my car. But yeah, you can see... Yeah, I would like to see where the Merc topped out. 258, so not that quick, but we still have the theory that the guy might have crashed at some point. We're struggling enough. Because, again, he was really fast in the beginning and then just dropped off. I don't know. I'm getting tired again. Now we have the NSX coming down. Struggling for these corners here. Yeah, the Bentley seems to be full of mirrors. Yeah, right. Like, you have the right side mirror here. You have a very convenient rear view camera and a really good center mirror. It's like, you could totally live without this rear view camera because the center mirror is really good on this car. And if you were in a real car, it would definitely actually be terrible visibility. Because if ACC would work like AC and would render the stuff that is in the car, you would not have good visibility out of the back of this rear view mirror. And there's, by the way, where it went. We're gonna look at that in a second, but I wanted to just briefly talk about this. Because as you can see, you don't see. The rear view window isn't actually that large, really. There's a rear wing as well, and then there's the cross for the roll bar hoop, and this netting. So, in reality, this mirror is kinda useless. But in ACC it is well working. So yeah, in real life you definitely need this camera to just see out of the back, because this mirror isn't doing really much. In comparison, the Merc is probably significantly better visibility out of the back. It has a smaller mirror, although, I mean, you don't see that much either. There's also roll bars and all of that stuff in the way. But that thing doesn't have a rear view camera, you only have that tiny mirror at the top. The NSX in comparison, yeah, no, you have the engine wall, the firewall of the engine there, and that stands. That's what you have. I mean, the camera is really conveniently mounted there as well, so there's that. Right, let's just watch the NSX blast by. As you can see, you don't see. Yes. Still, the Bentley could perhaps do without one. Like the MUQU doesn't have one in it. Although these are always like accessories that like teams can anyway install. Most likely. So it's stuff that like some cars have and some people don't have. Like not every Ferrari technically has that center screen thing. But if you're spending 700,000 on a race car, you might as well buy the screen for it for like 50,000 or so. Ooh, wow! I forgot how much sideways he went there. Let's watch that from the cockpit. Watch that again, yeah. Wheum. Yeah, that was luck. A lot of it. Oh yeah, in the meantime I'm running at the back of him again. So he enters here again way too quick, drops a bunch of time and is wide, so I can draw alongside. I'm gonna just back out again. He's still a bit offline, but at least he doesn't quite have to fight me. Because I knew that like holding him up is gonna be a bit of a struggle and a bit of an impossibility. But in the end, he probably just ran himself out of fuel. Because he had done all his pit stops. He just miscalculated his fuel. Which isn't too surprising. Right, he's attacking down the MUQU. Pops the inside curb here and ooh, again a close call. Fuck me, how much steering lock he put on there. Holy shit. Did he flash or something, or why did his like hand grab around for some sort of adjustment? Oh, he was adjusting fuel mix most likely. Yeah. He definitely was playing with the engine mix. He definitely started to notice that he's running out of fuel. And started to fuel manage. But the problem he ran into is that he noticed that he was gonna run a few laps short. And even trying to fuel save, he's gonna just run out of it. Because he pitted on the final lap actually. He pitted on the final lap here, so he had hoped there to be one less lap. If there had been one less lap, he would have been actually fine. So where did we leave off actually? Yeah, we were right. Here, massive oversteer. Couldn't watch it again. Massive oversteer moment just about saves it. There comes a boat flying by. You can buy CSLs. Because I think I mentioned this recently that like oh no, I think I mentioned that as a viewer in someone's stream that I looked recently at CSL because someone mentioned that he has one and like that they're basically sold out. You could only buy like the CSL Pro base 8 Newton meters base only, which is quite significantly more expensive than any other version. That's hey, great, awesome to hear. I mean, I'm playing with the thought of like upgrading my wheelbase at some point. Yeah. Yeah. The just base version, right, of the CSL Pro. I don't like the fucking name scheme Pro. That they named it the Pro. It's the PlayStation version, CSL PS. Because it doesn't have any, as far as I know, feature differences. It just looks different. Besides, obviously, the real bundles that include like a rim and pedals. Those are like, yeah, there's a bit more. This can be also called Gran Turismo editions. Yeah, I'm autistic about this, sorry. So you did get one with a rim already? Or did you buy the rim separately? Yeah, that without VAT, oof. That isn't even the VAT yet. Oh, ouch. Because that is very expensive without the VAT. I mean, in Germany the VAT is always included. You're forced to do it, so he does again here the infamous I didn't give a shit about the track limits, bro. And here I nearly murder him. Okay. Yeah, really good choice with the McLaren rim. But damn, 780 with. Did you buy pedals with it? Separately, obviously, in that. So, but are pedals included in the 780? I would imagine their pedals to be included, even for CSL pricing. Pedals should. Ooh, ouch! Again, another massive overstage switch there from the MUQU. I'm following him here in the slipstream, but I don't think it's enough in this case. Yeah, okay. So you did buy load cell pedals, right? That's how the numbers suddenly start adding up. 2 pedals, no load cell. You're gonna order the load cell later. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you drive a lot of GT cars, this is all absolutely a perfect set. If, like, you don't really need a clutch anyway. I've mentioned this earlier with the Porsche, that the Porsche, Audi, and BMW M4 all have with the pit stops, because they had because there were 2 mandatory pit stops in this race, which. With those cars, you don't need to use the clutch. You just you have the car in first gear, have the foot on the throttle, and you just press the starter when you drop off, and have the car in first. And the car just rolls off, and that works on the M4. Even when you have auto clutch turned off, like me, that works on those cars. But on the Bentley, for example, I do need to like do the clutch, which I mean isn't that much slower. It doesn't really make much of a difference, but it's still like such a cool feeling when the car just rolls off like that. This is because money, okay. Fair enough. I mean, at some point it gets very expensive. 780 is already very expensive. I was thinking, yeah, and we're heading actually. Wonder what was for him? It was the last lap actually. He got lapped by the race leader, seems. Well, I think his last lap got cut off again by the replay. I think the replay cuts laps from people off. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, what I wanted to say, yes, we're gonna get to it. I was thinking of buying a CSL at the end of last year. Was toying around with the idea. But I mean, my rig is already creaking enough, so it's that's its own thing. And the thing was with the CSL was, I'll watch briefly the defense here. Was I want to have a round rim, but I also would like a Formula rim at some point. I've always thought of like buying a Formula rim for my T300, but never actually did it. I've always sticked with my round rim that came with, which is the Ferrari GT rim, the one without Alcantara, the one that you can buy for $100. I mean, just holding the thing, you can hear it already creak. Especially if I start putting some rotational torque that isn't along the rotation axis on the wheel. Yeah, I mean, the rim has held up really well. In comparison to the T150 that I had, not T150, I had a TMX before, which is the same as the T150, where the rubber just gave up after about a year of usage. This thing has absolutely no tear and wear, except that, like, I think the pedal shifters are starting to be, like, sometimes hit or miss with activation. There can be when you're not pushing them fully straight down, they start having issues with activation, so they struggle with the, when I'm not careful with this stuff, but usually they still work. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to race with them. I mean, it's effectively one or up to 5 in 1,000 shifts or so that I start having issues with them. It starts being noticeable, but I can race an entire race without having the issue, so I didn't have a gear change issue in this race, or the qualifying, or actually the previous race. Even. Right then, we're actually in the final lap now. And here comes actually the back marker again, who decides to get involved with the Merc in front. Yeah, the Merc is out of shape again. The back marker comes alongside. Oh, the exhaust! The red hot. But the back marker decides that he wants to get out of it. He doesn't want to fight it. Fair enough, I thought he was way more feisty than he actually was in the end. Right. Oh, you used a Driving Force GT before. Oh. Yeah, I definitely skipped that stage. It's actually kind of sad that broke, because at this point they are like historical pieces, you could say it. Like, I mean, when I got really rolling in sim racing back in 2017, it was like the Driving Force GT was still like, oh, if you can find a used one, it's something for a beginner. But like, granted, the guides back then already were like a few years old probably, and frankly that wasn't really a viable option at that point anymore. And I think at this point they're really like something that kind of should be treasured. But yeah, it's an item, it should be used, and if it breaks, it's unfortunate, and I mean, perhaps someone at some point can fix it, and I mean, there's enough of them out there. If one of them breaks, it's like, oh well. There's probably enough for us to save. Okay, we're gonna watch actually him, like, what the hell happened. Yeah, but then that's that one hell of an upgrade, right? So. Oh yeah, so you got actually that precise scenario of like getting a used Driving Force GT that I talked about just now. The exact scenario of a used Driving Force GT, used it for a few years, and it served you really well till it decided to die. And that is definitely actually better usage you got out of that one than I got out of the T-Max. For which I paid like $200, and I had to replace the T3 the springs in the T3 PA pedals regularly. Okay, I had to replace them only once. I only had to replace all of them once. But I also technically would have had to replace it at the end a second time, because they had all broken again. So, what happened with this guy that he came into the pits 2 laps later again? solid. Our practice sessions pedal still completely fine. So, yeah, apparently those were built like tanks, because unfortunately I've never used one. I've only seen images of them. Oh, ouch! My dude, I think the Mad Panda, you and the Mad Panda, you were kind of at fault for that one. Because he was ahead. Yeah, you did technically unsafe release, but he was still ahead of you, so you should probably back out at that point. In any case, he came in the lap after this one. So, I don't know what happens. Maybe he's... that is great. The body can be used. Actually, I'm coming out of fix there. That infamous quote of what can you say about you can't say about your girlfriend. It died recently, but I'm still using parts of her. It's the same with the driving force GT, right? Right, I wanted to read the rest of the text, but the expenses were one thing for a lot of use. That's my thing. Yeah, you. I'm watching it on to replace each other, so that will be fun. Yeah. The thing is, of the placing challenge, it will wobble and all of that stuff. I have genuine fear with my rig that literally the wood will break at times. That one of the screws won't snap, but the screws will break out of the wood. That is a genuine fear I have with this rig at times. I definitely need to do some basic reinforcement on it. I've slowly figured out what I made mistakes with the construction of it, and need to just improve certain areas. There needs to be in the back here. When I had my T3 PAs inverted, I had obviously the up ramp here. The T3 PAs were mounted onto a wood piece, and that gave the entire rig more rigidity left to right, and that is obviously right now gone. So I would mount the wood piece up here. That would a plank that would not just a bar that would not help, but a plank with 4 screws onto it that will give additional rigidity along in the longitudinal axis. Right, he's coming back in. I have no clue why he pitted again. But yeah, that on a longitudinal plane, and also I think what I'm gonna do is that's more difficult to understand without seeing it. The other piece is like my pedal deck is held up with 2 just vertical on each side, a vertical piece of wood, and then these like diagonal. Ouch! That's great. We have obviously these diagonal pieces. I don't know which it's visible on the camera, but these diagonal pieces here of wood that go. One of those goes up to the pedal deck and mounts, and the thing is, the pedal deck can move due to those 2 not being connected with each other directly. It's just the pedal deck connecting those 2. So the pedal deck can wobble. If you have any clue of bridge engine here, I kind of suck at that game. I've played it for like an hour or 2, and I suck definitely at it. So yeah, I have no clue why he pitted again immediately. Probably he didn't take enough fuel or something, but I can't put it together. What his strategy decision there was. Right, well, we'll continue talking. We could like rewind and watch the start again, I guess. Oh, he started out of the pit lane as well. Let's watch from the back of the grid. Talk about this stuff, right? But yeah, briefly got what you guys wrote. Okay, in the hood, I'm planning on getting a driver fast G because it's basically a G29 with worse pedals. They are literally made from the same materials anyway. Nah, driving force GT is still like a significantly older design. What you're thinking of is a G25 and G27. And technically also G920s and G927, whatever the newest generation is of them. They are very similar, all of these. Obviously G25 is the oldest. Those are a very similar series of wheels. The Driving Force GT is definitely a significantly older and outdated design. Coming from, when did the Driving Force GT hit the market? I think there is an ad for the Driving Force GT on the back of GTR2. Back in 2005 or 6. Not sure which year the GTR2 came out. So it is definitely a very old design at that point, and also just finding them at this point. Like, Logitech wheels are kinda abundant. That's the right word. So you find those a bit more common. 2007. Yeah, around that time that Leaf wheel came out. So it is coming. Depending on your region and all of this stuff, where like general used market shenanigans. If you don't have any used market, then good luck with even a Driving Force. If you having a more developing region of the world where tech products arrive like a generation later, then Driving Force GT might be not the worst decision. That might actually be used market relevant still, but you sort of live in the first world. You probably don't find a Driving Force GT at this point anymore. It's a recommendation, I think, at this point from about 8 to 10 years ago that is starting to become outdated. It is a bit unfortunate right now because if you're buying new wheels, actually the entry-level wheels are not really any good entry levels. The entry level has gone up in price significantly. If you can still find TMXs and T150s, they are obviously good entry-level wheels. But on also older a G29 or something for Logitech. But obviously Logitech is intending to use the new generation wheel to replace the old G29, and that one is more expensive than has had a price bump on MSRP and probably the store price, because the store price on Logitech wheels have been always historically lower than the MSRP, oftentimes. And then you have the T300, and then Thrustmaster on the other hand, they have the what is it called? TX248 or something like that, which is also significant. It costs more than a T300, but has the same drive system effectively as the T150s and TMXs. So belt and gear drive hybrids, which is not too bad. It is I can tell you it is worse than a T300. Not that specific wheel, that's probably actually competing with a T300, but the TMX at least, it's definitely noticeable that a T300 is smoother. But that thing mainly sells on the fact that it's bundled with, that it has this like integrated screen on its integrated rim. You can't take the rim off that wheel. So it's not a wheelbase like a T300. And that it comes with pedals and all of this. So it is a new generation wheel. It's just, I think, a bit outdated at this point as well. So... not outdated, sorry. It is... The tech is... It is entry-level stuff. They're selling an entry-level product for quite a high price, and it seems they're probably intending to replace it, to cycle their older products like T300 and TMX out of the product listing, T150s, at some point. I don't know if that's happened yet, but it probably will happen in the future at some point. And that would be unfortunate for the pricing. Obviously, the used market will take a while to hit that, but at some point it will also affect the used market. I mean, it's similar with the VR, where it took like years till the pricing in... it took. I mean, what I'm like, okay. In VR, where we had the Windows Mixed Reality that came out, that was stupidly cheap. That was not particularly successful, but you had a lot on the used market, like, and also new on retail. Retail was just trying to get rid of them, of those mixed reality headsets. So you had a lot of just really cheap headsets. But Windows Mixed Reality is basically dead, besides HP, which are selling not an expensive headset, but not a cheap one either anymore. So you don't have the, which presented for me like the entry level for VR, right? So that is gone at this point, because at some point these products are discontinued, and that might happen in the future with those wheels. So that will. Yeah, I'm overthinking something. That there's like market developments that probably do not bother you in the slightest. It will matter at some point, but it probably doesn't matter for you, really. Either the pedals, the pedals, the rubber, as you said, the belt ripping, making clicking sound, etc. It made me cautious about this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I put mine through paces, for sure. Because I put, like, a lot of hours of R2 through it in that year, but still, the rubber shouldn't, like, peel off like that. And it's like, why did I suffer that peeling issue with the T-Max, sorry, when I have the T300 that has absolutely no tear and wear on it? That rim has, so you can put it next to a factory rim and you would notice wear, but like it has basically the rubber indents are still there in the grip section of the wheel, while on the other one it completely wore through and the thing started peeling off. That is like why. But yeah. So right. Let's go a bit back up the chat. Okay, Lathusky was mentioning the strengthening kit for like 140 years, which isn't that bad. Wood plate support, but also very good deal. Yeah, to reinforce obviously the what is it called again? What's the rig called? The folding chair one. You mentioned the name, and I'm terrible for names again. Yeah, Placey Challenge. Right. It's the Placey Challenge. Okay, yes. That stuff definitely helps for the drive. But again, I don't have a direct drive. There are people who own them who have talked about using them on those rigs. It is mentioned that it's probably recommended to use 5 Nm mode, but you can't buy 5 Nm CSLs anymore, so you just need to turn them down. Which, at least you're not getting any clipping then. Has its advantages. But, yeah. And you also can actually have arms at the end of a race. It's kind of a fear a bit with, like, thinking about buying a direct drive wheel for myself. Is like, can I actually run an Enduro? Because I definitely could feel when I turned the force feedback down to reduce clipping, but it's like, on the higher settings, it's like, it's really exhausting to drive. So it's like, it's not that fun, but it's probably because you're basically just constantly pushing at 100% force. Because it's basically on-off switch nearly the force feedback at that point. But yeah, something that I wanted to say. Okay, we're gonna finally get to this. Was me considering a CSL DD, and it was just, I had considered it back at the end of the year, but it's like, I drive cars that have round rims and with H shifter and stuff, and also while I did like to have a non-round rim as well, just to drive for most of the GT cars, because it's really nice, these not round rims and stuff. But it's just, that's then $200 for the McLaren rim, and then another $200 for a round rim, and then the CSL DD, and You notice that this very quickly will, even if when you could buy a CSLDD 8 Newton meters without having to buy the Pro version, which is, aka you could just spend $450 on a CSLDD. That still ends up with you at what is that? 850. At least it includes VAT at that point, but you're still paying shipping. So there's still shipping in there. I mean, it's at least Germany, so it's a bit cheaper perhaps, but still, it ain't that cheap. It's definitely something. So I put it off and didn't pursue it, and now you can't really buy them. So I'm kind of thinking of perhaps another, but I haven't put any real thought to it. I have some other things to do. I'm kind of busy at times, so there's that. Right. I think everybody left. I've talked for a lot of amount of talking at the end of this. I hope I've entertained some people. Well then, it was really fun races. Definitely the races today were really all of them good. I mean, obviously the SRGP race ended up being very boring for the most part. But Hungary was fun to drive, right? Hungary was fun to drive. It was improving at times, even though I'm probably going very slow on the track. And we got to talk about some stuff, so that worked decently, and the Spa race was really good. And obviously, if you've missed it, the VOD is obviously up of the AC race at Spa Petit Champs that I did last night. That thing is hilarious. I should probably timestamp it for the 2 races in there, but like, go watch that shit. That was fun. Although the problem is I'm not commentating much on it. I have to say my commentary was really bad. I was a bit tired and trying to focus while driving, while dodging a bunch of vans. But there's some absolutely hilarious moments in there. Right then. It's all good, right? I don't announce my streams in times. There's always the VOD afterwards that you can watch. Nothing stops you, right? I'm gonna be here anyway. I'm gonna stream if I'm alone, and if you come, then you come, and it's nice. If you don't come, you don't come. Okay, it's great to have you around, but don't bend yourself backwards, right? Okay then. Bye bye.